balik tayo sa ating topic. Okay, so balikan natin yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, obscurity of words, vagueness of terms, ano? May naalala lang ako, batay sa ating lecture plan. Alam niyo yung mga terms, ito ang dapat kasing, I'm not sure, I have not really scrutinized the consumer code. But the words like bargain sale and buy one take one and things like that, it should really be regulated and defined already para wala nang obscurity, wala nang vagueness, no? Lalo na we're really concerned with protecting the buying public. Diba? Ganito kasi nalata ko, mag-ingat kayo pag bumili kayo ng buy one take one. Ang concept nila ng buy one take one ngayon, halimbawa, dati-dati concept natin, di ba? Kung mag-promo ang Coke ng buy one take one, ang ibig sabihin nun, bili ka ng isang bote ng Coke na let's say 200 milliliters, bibigyan ka ng libreng bote ng Coke na 200 milliliters. Buy one take one ngayon. And this is done even by the expensive stores, like SNR. Yung buy one take one is you buy something, halimbawa one bottle of wine, di ba? Tapos ang take one mo is a small bottle of something else. So parang disappointing, di ba? Disappointing eh. Are they defrauding the public? Ako personally, I think they are because ang concept talaga natin sa buy one take one is libre yung isa. Di ba? Makakabili ka ng dalawa, makakakuha ka ng dalawa, bilhin mo lang yung isa. Ang nangyari ngayon dyan sa kabalastugan nila sa paggamit ng term na buy one take one, alam niyo yung ano? Alam niyo yung buy one take one, ayun yung term na yan, no? B1T1. Buy one take one yan. Ito yung sinasabi natin na because it is now the accepted meaning, nawala na yung original meaning ng buy one take one. Kaya dapat siguro bilang mga kumukonsumo, as consumers, we should advocate. Kung isa sa inyo magiging congresswoman o senador, please remember what Attorney Balanag said 20 years ago. Kaya mga terms na buy one take one, ganyan, dapat ma-regulate yan. Because we want to avoid obscurity or vagueness in terms in a contract. And like I told you, when a company offers something for sale, that is an offer. And if you buy it, that is a contract. If you accept the terms and conditions, that is a contract. Okay. So we were talking about cost of object of contracts. We were talking about cost and objects of contracts. So balikan muna natin yung object kasi nakalimutan ko talakayin yung future inheritance. Pinagbabawa, simple lang ito, ladies and gentlemen. You don't even need to study the Supreme Court decision where this term was defined. Isasabihin ko na sa inyo. The reason why future inheritance is not is not a valid cause, is not a valid object for a contract is because whenever we talk about inheritance, the Civil Code is a very complicated procedure for giving away a person's estate. So, we have, I will write it here on the one, ano? Okay. We have a law on yung succession yan, hindi yan yung papalit si sino yung vice president na ayaw maarawan? Yun, siyang papalit doon sa presidenteng pasyal ng pasyal. Sino ba pangalan? Hindi ito This is not the law on succession we're talking about. That is political succession. Succession here is the law on inheritance. Di ba pinag-usapan natin ito noon? Meron kasi tayong forced heirs. We have forced or legitimate heirs. And under the law now, even illegitimate children have a share, di ba, of the estate. So you cannot give away your estate, nor can you give away your right to an inheritance, nor can it be the subject of a contract in the present. Hindi, buhay pa yung tatay-nanay mo. Buhay pa yung tatay-nanay mo, tapos pinag-isipan mo na yung kotse nilang Mercedes-Benz na classic, na worth, ang sabi ng car club, ang worth ng kotse na yon ngayon ay 15 million pesos. Iyon, inawitan mo na sa tatay mo, gusto mo, pag makakuha mo, ibebenta mo doon kay Apa Ong Pin or somebody who collects cars. Apa Ong Pin is my friend. He likes to collect cars. And if he has 15 million, maybe he'll like to buy it. You cannot do that. Because the law on succession is very, very formalistic. You cannot just give away your estate. You cannot just say, oh, ito, bibigay ko to kay Pedro, ito, bibigay ko to kay Maria. You cannot do that. There is a formal-based way. There are two ways to write a will. There's a notarial will, and there is a handwritten will. You know? A holographic will. And both have certain formalities which must be complied with. If you do not comply with the formalities, the will is invalid. Kaya hindi lang pwedeng pag-usapan ang future inheritance. So that's all you need to know. The rest of it, you will learn when and if you take up law. It's more complicated than that. Okay. I'll implore you to read the rest of the causes of contracts, articles 1350 to 55. They're all commonsensical. No? I also require you to read. In fact, I will require you to memorize what Article 1358 is. What contracts might appear in a public document. So I'll spend some time talking about this, and I will now scroll downwards. Sinabi natin noon, mga kaibigan, sa law of contracts, there is no required form. Diba? As long as two people agree and they know what they're talking about, they know the object of their contract, and they know the cost of their contract, they know how much they're going to part with, how much they're going to pay, they know what is going to be received in exchange for the payment, they know the consequences if they not comply with their respective obligations. A contract is always a reciprocal obligation. There is no specific form. Diba? That's the general rule. But there are certain contracts which require certain forms. So you must memorize Article 1358, not only because it's memorizable, but because it may come out in the board exams. And it's useful for you to know when you're already practicing. I cannot help you. You have to help yourselves. Expect you to write it down in your notebooks, in your notes. Ako, bilang abogado, and I have been I just won another case this week. That's why I've been very busy because I have to wrap up loose ends. Of course, the client's happy and things like that. But when you win a case, it's not the end of it. There are many other things to take care of. Okay, so hopefully, the only remaining case I have from the pandemic, mananalo rin ako. I think I will win. The thing is, these judges take their time. It's against the Constitution to delay the writing of a decision. So, sabihin nyo na, kung talo ako, di talo ako, I will just appeal. I know what to do, I'm a lawyer. Okay, so, as a lawyer who has been practicing for 35 years, I'll tell you, although the law space says there is no specific form for a contract, please, pag nakipagkontrata kayo, isulat nyo in a public document. I will highlight the term public document. What is the meaning of a public document? Yan ba ipapublish pa sa official gazette? Everything which the government promulgates laws, rules, regulations, fees that they collect, rules that they already repeal. It has to be printed in the official gazette. Because nung panahon ni Marcos, the old Marcos, the smart one, not the stupid one. Okay? The smart Marcos, during his time, he was fond of secret decrees. Secret, ang dami yan. Hindi nga namin alam. Nasa law school ako noon. Hindi ko alam, mayroon palang ganong batas. Yung mga human rights lawyers, pagkarating lang sa korte, at doon na sila nagdedebate, doon lang na malalaman, ay mayroon palang batas na pinasa si Marcos. Si Marcos yung patay na Marcos, yung may utak ha, hindi yung bobo. Yung may utak na Marcos, nagpasa pala ng decree. At yun ang ginagamit ngayon sa korte. Hindi sasabihin ng mga human rights lawyers, hindi namin yan alam. Sorry kayo. Because of that experience, right after when Cory took over, they made it a rule that everything must be published first in the official gazette. Yan ba yung public document na pinag-uusapan natin dito sa 1358? Kailangan ba i-publish yan? Kailangan bang i-post yan sa City Hall? Alam niyo, pag kayo magpapakasal, mag-apply muna kayo ng marriage license. Isusulat yung marriage banns. The announcement. Aaron Barconosa intends to marry Charlene Reyes, and anybody who has cause to disagree with this should say so that we will not issue a marriage license. Ilalagay yan sa bulletin board. Makikita yan ng mga shota ni Mr. Barconosa, malalaman nila na papakasal na pala siya. Baka mag-big T sila. Di ba? Hindi yan pinapublish, hindi yan pinopost. A public document is a notarized document. Anong importansya ng pagnonotaryo? Bakit natin pinag-aaralan dito sa form of contracts? Ito lang ang tatalakayin ko. Kasi ito ang importante rito. The importance of having a public document is first, there is a record. Hindi kayo pwede magtagawan ng kontrata. Di ba? Hindi kayo pwede magtaga ng kontrata. Ano sinasabi mo? Wala. Nakatago yung kontrata. Ako lang may alam. Ikaw na buyer sa aking subdivision, hindi mo alam. Anong pinag-usapan natin? Ito ako may kontrata. Kung magkakagulo, ako lang maglalabas ng dokumento. Patay kayong lahat. Hindi pwedeng gano'n. So many contracts are actually notarized because when you notarize a document, there exists several other copies. The notarial law requires the notary public to retain a copy. At yung notary public, hindi niya rin tatago yung kahit kumpare niya yung nagpapanotaryo. Kasi the notary public does not own that document. He has to put that in a folder together with all of these documents that he notarized and submit that to the court. The court will keep it. Nako, fire hazard ang mga court. Ang dami nilang papel. Kasi yung mga notaryo, lalo na yung mga nasa palengke, meron ako kaibigan, kasama ko nung nagpa-practice when I was starting up. Ngayon, mayaman na siya. Yumaman siya sa pagnonotaryo kasi may-ari siya ng palengke sa Caloocan. At lahat ng tao kailangan na magpanotaryo, yung alam mo na at that time, 40 pesos, 50 pesos lang putaran. Wait, daan-daan yung tao nagpapanotaryo araw-araw sa kanya. Kaya talagang sa pagnonotaryo lang, buhay na siya. He submits that, he puts that all in a folder or several folders, submits that to court. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pag meron kang hinahanap ng dokumento, alam mong notaryado yan, alam mo kung saan ginawa, kailangan alam mo kung saan ginawa kasi the records are kept by region. The regional trial court has a jurisdiction only by region. So, regional trial court ng NCR lang yan. Regional trial court ng Region 4, which Binangon and Antipolo are part of, sa Region 4 lang yan. So, it's hindi pwedeng taga Mindanao ka tapos maghanap ka ng dokumento taga Quezon City. Kailangan alam mo kung saan. So, pupuntahan mo ngayon yung korte, halongkatin nila yan. Lahat. Kung alam mo yung date. Hanapin nila yan. Kasi it's arranged by date. No? There exists a document which will prove the contents of that agreement. And why is this good for the parties? Hindi kayo magkakalokohan because you have a document na kontrolado, hindi nyo pwedeng palitan. Hindi mo pwedeng cut and paste. Iba yung hawak ng isa, iba yung hawak ng isa. Kasi mayroong control na sa hawak ng notaryo. So the notary public is a control, so make sure that the parties are really agreeing. They consented. They presented themselves and said, oh ito, Pedro, sa'yo ba to? Signature mo yan? O ikaw Maria, signature mo ba yan? O kung kayo talaga signature niya, inonotaryo ko. Ganyan ang trabaho ng notaryo. And when you have a notarized document, hawak mo yan. Ikaw si Pedro, may hawak kang kopya. Ikaw si Maria, may hawak kang kopya. Pag magkakagulo yung inyong kontrata, all you have to do is produce it. You produce your copy, produce your copy. Anong basa mo dyan? Anong basa ko rito? If you have a disagreement, you go to court. And the court doesn't have to say, ano bang babasahin ng kopya rito? There's only one document. There's only one document which evidences their agreement, their contract, and that's what the court will interpret. So doon yung pinapapasok ang role ng korte. So at least, nabawasan yung evidentiary. The evidence that you have to produce already exists. Evidence already exists. Alam niyo bakit importante ito? Kaming mga trial lawyers kasi, when a document is produced, the first thing we ask is, how do we know that it is authentic? Di ba? Lalo na ngayon with word programming and photoshopping and all of these techniques. Ang dali magpeke ng dokumento. How do we know that it's authentic? How do we know that that is really, that signature was not cut and paste, di ba? From the internet. How do we know that the person really expressed his will in when he wrote that document? How do we even know that that person was involved in the making of that document? Sa korte, pag hindi notaryado ang dokumento, you have to prove its existence. Ang tagal niyan. You will call witnesses. Pepe, Pilar, nakita niyo ba si Pedro na gumawa ng dokumento nito? Nakita niyo ba si Maria na sumang-ayon sa dokumentong ito? Opo. Okay, sumang-ayon. Okay, Your Honor. We have witnesses na nakita nilang ginagawa itong dokumento. Sayang ang oras. Pag notaryado, all you have to do is present the document and show that it is properly notarized. Once it is notarized, the judge will say the document exists. Wala nang pag-awayan sa dokumento. Ang pag-awayan na lang kung ano nakasulat sa dokumento. Siguro pwede yung pag-awayan. With the fact that the document exists, step 1 ka na sa kaso mo. So that is the importance of having something notarized. When you're already running a business, kahit online kayo, have it in writing. Kahit email lang. Kahit private message lang, direct message lang. Na pwede nyong i-cut and paste at ilagay sa papel at pwede nyo yung dalhin sa korte at pakita na itong si Pedro nagbenta kay Attorney Barrett ng dashcam ay hindi niya pre-provide. Diba? May kasulatan ka na. But if it's notarized, it's a lot easier because you don't have to prove authenticity. Diba? If I produce screenshots of my transactions with the scammer who was selling me dashcam, tapos halimbawa na idala yan sa fiscal, sa korte, I have to prove that that email is or that message from the scammer is really his. So I have to show that it came from their website. I have to show my screenshot. I have to show my laptop under the electronic evidence rule. Apoy kayo. But if you get your other party to agree na mag-notarize kayo, notarization means you both go to a notary public and present yourselves. Sabihin nyo, ito talaga agreement namin. That's why the court will accept that it is authentic kasi the notary public will certify that Pedro and Maria actually appeared and they agreed this is their contract. Ito, kung malabo o mali o whatever, nakasaad doon, basta ito yung kanilang pinagsulatan. Okay, so that's the importance of a contract. Kaya huwag kayong, kahit mag-online business kayo, always keep things in writing. And if you can, have it notarized. Hindi na balin 200, 600 pesos na bayad sa notaryo. Pag magkagulo, may advantage na kayo. Basta hindi kayo manloloko. Now, another advantage of a written contract is, alam niyo, I have friends who do contract law. I'm not really a contract lawyer. Like I told you, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa nagagawa yung kontrato ng aking pamangkin para sa Discord. He invented a bot which is used by thousands of people in Discord. And the owners of Discord told him to consult a lawyer, come up with a contract. I have not done it yet because I'm not really a contract lawyer. Napakagulo pala ng US electronic contract law. It's really a specialty unto itself. No wonder these guys get paid thousands and thousands of dollars. Mahirap. But the people who do contract law, ito yung linalagay nila. Please read this. You can already stipulate venue. Pag magkagulo ang inyong kontrata, halimbawa, si Miss Anduque at saka si Miss Gaspar. Si Miss Gaspar, nag-asawa siya ng Muslim. Ewan ko bakit niya ginawa yun. Nag-asawa siya ng Muslim. Nandun na siya ngayon sa Maguindanao. Si Miss Anduque nandito pa rin sa Rizal. May business sila. Trading ng coconuts. Yung coconuts na galing sa Maguindanao, ilalagay sa barcode, kukunin ni Miss Anduque sa pier, ibebenta niya dito sa Pilipinas. So they have an agreement. Nakasaad sa agreement. Alam niyo kasi kung walang agreement, kung hindi nakasaad sa kontrata kung saan kayo maghahabla, kung sakali magkagulo yung inyong kontrata, si Miss Anduque magpa-file ng kaso sa Binangonan. Si Miss Gaspar, kung siya naman yung gusto magkaso, ipa-file niya yun sa Maguindanao. Imagine, napakahirap si Miss Anduque pupunta pa sa Maguindanao. O hindi, si Miss Gaspar, mula Maguindanao, pupunta ng Binangonan. Di ba? So, usually, yung gumawa ng kontrata, ilalagay niya rin kung saan niya gustong magkaroon ng legal jurisdiction sa kontrata. Para, yun ang batas na masusunod at doon ihahabla kung sakali magkaroon ng habla. Why do you do that? For convenience. Tingnan niyo yung terms of reference niyo sa Facebook, sa Twitter, sa Discord, sa Instagram, sa TikTok. Nakalagay dyan yung venue and legal jurisdiction. Yung venue dyan sa TikTok, malamang Beijing, China. Yung jurisdiction, Chinese law. Hindi Taiwanese. Red China, Communist China law. Bakit nila ginawa yun? Because it's there for their convenience. And then, when you interpret the document, you have to use Chinese law and you have to get somebody who is an expert or familiar with Chinese law when you want to dispute your TikTok contract. Diba, kumikita ka na. Para kang si Miss Universe. Pia Versba. It's pronounced Versba. It's not Versbach. Si Pia Versba is, I think, one of the top in TikTok. TikTok ba siya o Instagram? 1 million followers, mga ganun. They earn a lot of money from that kasi monetized na yan. If she has a dispute, it's going to be probably under Chinese law. Because it's for the convenience of TikTok. Sila gumawa ng kontrata eh. You can also provide for penal clauses in lieu of damages. So, alam nyo kasi yung damages, you have to prove that also in court. So, instead of damages, kung halimbawa, it's Facebook. Wala naman talaga silang kita dahil sa'yo. Ang gastos lang nila is probably because they had to hire a lawyer. And you know, lawyers in the West are paid by the hour. I was hired as a lawyer by a Western company in Dubai, and I was paid by the hour very handsomely. In dollars, huh? So they probably will already include that in a penal clause. Meron dyan, in case of litigation, you, Ms. Fuentes, will pay Microsoft $200 an hour. Kasi yun yung babayad sa abogado nila. You can also have what's called arbitration clauses. The last line yung naka-red sa screen nyo. Alam kasi ng mga parties na mahirap magpunta sa korte. In the United States, makita nyo, di ba sa United States, nakita nyo, kinakasuhan yung mga nagsumugod sa Capitol, sa US Capitol during January 6. When Trump lost the election, sinabi nila, dinaya daw ni Trump. They threatened the Vice President. Not this one, yung allergic sa sunblock. Allergic sa araw. Yung Vice President doon sa US, Vice President Pence, they threatened him. They wanted to hang him because he refused to announce that Trump actually won, but Trump did not win. So, the arbitration clause, people know that the people who were caught then, it took a long time for them to be tried because the legal process is really very long. The legal process will eventually find some sort of truth, but it takes so long. Look at me, my case that I won last week, it took 2 years. Napakasimpleng bagay. And all that time, my client is paying me. So kawawa rin siya. Of course, it's good for me, but I don't want my clients to go through too much expense, di ba? The whole point in having a legal process is to make things easy for all of the parties. So what do? We have an arbitration clause. Arbitration is an alternative to going to court. Kasi sa arbitration, walang korte. Meron lang yung private person, usually a person who is chosen by both parties or is chosen by a third party. Okay, so meron talaga mga arbitration bodies. I'll tell you now, halimbawa si Ms. Fuentes bumili ng house and lot. Bumili ng house and lot kay Villar. Amelia Homes. Pag turnover kay Ms. Fuentes, nakita niya, may bara-bara naman ito. Ano ba naman yung CR yung CR yung banyo, pagbukas mo ng pintuan, hindi mo mabuksan yung pintuan kasi nakaharang yung toilet bowl. Ano mo naman klaseng design niya, di ba? What will Ms. Fuentes do? She cannot go to court and sue Villar. Mali yun! Because every construction contract in the Philippines must be arbitrated before the SIAC, the Construction Industry Arbitration Council. What is the advantage of SIAC? Wala na korte-korte, madali lang yan. They will pick there is a panel composed of a prominent lawyer and 2 other members, one of whom is an engineer. Civil engineer who is well known. So, alam nila kung nanloloko ba yung developer o luko-lukot. Hindi marunong makaintindi yung buyer ng bahay. Di ba? So, all construction contracts, when there is a dispute, are arbitrated. So, you don't have to provide an arbitration clause in your construction contract because it's already understood. But you can provide an arbitration clause in other contracts where you want to avoid litigation. Litigation is expensive. It takes time. You have to pay your lawyers. You don't know how the judge will rule. And then baka ganun rin ang mangyayari. Talo ka o panalo ka. Ako kasi when a client comes to me, I already evaluate the case based on what I know. Sabihin ko, naku, sayang tayo dyan, Mr. Bantag. Baka guilty ka dyan. Magagastos ka lang sa akin, magigilty ka rin. Diba? Kahit kababayan tayo, taga-Cordillera ako, Mr. Bantag. Baka hindi kita matutulungan. Ganyan ang style dyan. But some clients don't want to listen and they want to try their luck. So there's an arbitration clause, the arbitrator decides. The decision of the arbitrator is usually binding, like a court decision. And it can be executed. You go to a regional trial court, you bring the arbitral decision, and you can execute it. The court will assign a sheriff and implement the arbitration decision. Ibig sabihin, kung talo si Villar, pupunta siya doon sa bahay ni Villar, hatakin niya yung washing machine niya para bayaran ka. Siyempre hindi. Unahin niyo muna yung Mercedes-Benz niya, yung 3. Okay. So that is the advantage of an arbitration clause. It avoids litigious, expensive litigation. So these are the things that you want to see in a contract. If you are doing a contract for your company or for your family, or if you are the other party to whom a contract is given, remember we talked about contracts of adhesion. These are the things to look out for. Saan ba ang venue nito? Taga Binangonan ako, baka biglang ang asunto nito, kailangan akong pilitin, magpupunta ako sa Maguindanao, pupunta ako sa Tawi-Tawi, pupunta ako sa Abra, kung saan na pagpasok ko pala ng Abra, babariling ka na. Diba? So, yun yung titingnan mo. Kung meron kang binigyan ka ng kontrata at meron ng chosen venue ron, maybe you can negotiate it. I doubt it, but you can probably negotiate it. Penal clause rin. Kung may penal clause, tingnan mo na. Lalo na kung may balak kang gayain yung kalaban mo, ay yung kasama mo sa kontrata. Okay. November 19. So this is okay. So our last topics will now be about voidable contracts. Kasi yung void contracts napakadaling basahin. We've been talking about void contracts and voidable contracts all along. So this is just a putting it in tabular form. So basahin nyo ang voidable contracts, Articles 1390 to 1402. Malapit na tayo matapos, ladies and gentlemen. Next Saturday, pag-aaralan natin ang reformation of instruments, rescissible contracts, unenforceable contracts, statute of frauds. Yung statute of frauds, extension lang yan pinag-usapan natin tungkol sa form of contracts. There are certain contracts which are required by the statute of frauds not only to be notarized, but there are certain contracts that have to be registered. So, as in the past, I required you during this third of the semester to please submit your handwritten notes. I'm sorry, I have not really looked at them yet. I've just really been so busy this week. I hope I'm going to Subic with my wife. My wife is in addition to her work as a legislative liaison for CHED, she was also a licensed lecturer on gender. So I'm going with her to Subic for 3 days. It is going to be a working 3 days for me. I'll stay in the hotel room and check papers. Not to mention catch up with some of the communications in my other cases. So it's not fun and games, but I hope to get some work done. So that by the next session, you will not only finish our subject matter, but you will also have an idea of how you performed this semester, and we will find a way to first make sure that everybody passes. Okay, so that if kung sayad yung performance mo, you have to do something for me. You have to perform. You have to do an activity so that I will make you pass. Second, to reward those who are going for Latin honors for Dean's Listers. I want to encourage Latin honors Dean's Listers. Ako, frustrated Dean's Lister ako. Frustrated Latin honor ako. Like I told you, I did not make cum laude because I was a transferee from engineering and I had 5s when I was taking up engineering. They counted that when I was taking up political science and economics. But it did not deter my college from asking me to teach. Okay. So I want to encourage those who are Dean's Listers, and I will help you. And overall, I want you to learn. And that's the important thing. This is the only thing that we teachers want really to do. Wait, I have a wrong spelling here of screenshots. My school, Marino, will get back my Best Speller Award. Okay, so let's pose for our last picture. Second to the last. And then I'll think of a final activity for all of you. Maybe not final exams per se. Baka oral exams na lang. Magkita tayo sa Jollibee. I will give you oral exam. You will answer oral questions orally. Baka ganon. Yung magandang performance, may libreng Jollibee. Yung hindi, siya magbabayad.